The quantum detection array at Luna Base 1 registered the anomaly at 3:47 Earth Standard Time. Commander Elena Santos stared at the readout, her coffee forgotten in her hand as the impossible reading scrolled across her screen. The object had appeared from nowhere, bypassing every early warning system humanity had placed around Sol system. Multiple signatures detected, her AI assistant reported. Configuration matches no known human designs. Mass and energy readings suggest advanced propulsion technology. Elena's fingers flew across the haptic interface, initiating first contact protocols that humanity had prepared but never expected to use. Get me Fleet Admiral Chen. Priority Alpha. The ships emerged from the quantum wake like silver tears in space, elegant vessels that seemed to be grown rather than built. Their hulls rippled with bioluminescent patterns that pulsed in complex sequences. But what caught Elena's attention was the damage. Deep scars marred their otherworldly beauty, and several ships were clearly operating on emergency power. This is Commander Santos of Earth's Luna Base 1 to unknown vessels. We are receiving your approach. Please identify yourselves. The response came not in radio waves or any conventional signal, but in a quantum-entangled burst that somehow interfaced directly with their communication systems. The alien voice carried layers of emotion that human speech couldn't convey: urgency, fear, and desperate hope. People of Earth, we are the Valoran Confederation. We come seeking asylum and alliance. The Galactic Council hunts us, and you may be the last hope for freedom in this arm of the galaxy. Within hours, Earth's major powers convened an emergency session of the United Earth Council. The Valoran representatives, tall crystalline beings that seemed to be composed of living diamond, presented their case. Through quantum-enhanced translators, they shared the history that had driven them to Earth. The Galactic Council, they explained, had ruled for 10,000 years through technological superiority and ruthless efficiency. Any species that refused to submit to their rule was systematically destroyed. The Valorans had been one of the few to resist, hiding their true capabilities behind a facade of compliance, while secretly developing technologies the Council had forbidden. We thought we could outlast them, the Valoran speaker, a being called Zar-El, explained. Their crystalline form shifted colors as they spoke, reflecting their emotional state. We had developed quantum phase technology that could have given us an advantage. But there was a betrayal. The holographic display activated, showing scenes that made hardened military officers flinch. Entire Valoran worlds reduced to atomic ash. Millions of crystalline beings shattered by weapons that violated physics as humanity understood it. The Council's response to their resistance had been absolute and merciless. Why come to Earth? Admiral Chen asked, her eyes never leaving the tactical displays showing the Valoran refugees' positions. We're barely interplanetary. What could we possibly offer against an enemy of this scale? Zar-El's form pulsed with determination. Because you are unknown to them. Because your species has achieved in centuries what took others millennia. But mostly because you have something the Council has spent 10,000 years trying to eliminate from the galaxy: the ability to innovate, to think beyond established patterns. The revelation that followed changed humanity's understanding of the galaxy forever. The Council didn't just rule through military might. They maintained control by suppressing innovation itself. Every member species was given access to approved technologies, but was strictly forbidden from developing new ones. The Council claimed this ensured stability and prevented destructive arms races. In reality, it ensured no one could ever challenge their dominion. Your isolation has been your salvation, Zar-El continued. You've developed along paths the Council never anticipated. Your quantum theories, while primitive by our standards, approach problems from angles we never considered. Combined with our technology, they could change everything. Admiral Chen exchanged looks with the other military leaders present. Humanity had always known first contact was possible, had prepared for both peaceful and hostile scenarios. But this being thrust into an interstellar war against an enemy that had 10,000 years of technological advantage. It seemed impossible. Then again, humanity's history was written by those who accomplished the impossible. What exactly are you proposing? Chen asked, though the glint in her eyes suggested she already knew. A partnership, Zar-El answered. We offer you our technology, our knowledge of the Council's weaknesses. In return, we need your innovation, your unique perspectives, and most importantly, your determination. The Council believes they've broken us. They don't know we found allies who specialize in overcoming impossible odds. The next 12 hours saw the most intense diplomatic and military discussions in human history. The Valorans were offering technology that would advance humanity by centuries, but accepting meant making Earth a target for the most powerful force in the galaxy. In the end, the decision was unanimous. Humanity had spent its entire existence fighting, innovating, and overcoming challenges. If the galaxy needed those traits to break free from stagnation and tyranny, then Earth would answer the call. Send word to your remaining forces, Admiral Chen told Zar-El as the agreement was finalized. Tell them Earth stands with the Valoran Confederation, and let's show this council why they should have found us first. As the quantum encrypted messages went out to the hidden Valoran resistance cells across the galaxy, humanity began its own preparations. They had 6 months at most before the Council discovered Earth's existence. 6 months to combine Valoran technology with human innovation and determination. The galaxy was about to learn why evolution had crafted humans to be such effective survivors. The Council had spent 10,000 years preventing species from thinking outside their carefully constructed box. They were about to face a species that had never known the box existed. Deep beneath the Mariana Trench, in a facility that officially didn't exist, Dr. Maya Patel watched as human and Valoran technology merged into something entirely new. The quantum forge before her pulsed with energy as it constructed materials that shouldn't be possible according to conventional physics. The crystal lattice is holding, her Valoran counterpart, Telmar, observed. Their crystalline form glowed with excitement as the test readings stabilized. Your suggestion to incorporate carbon nanostructures has increased efficiency by 300%. Maya nodded, her eyes fixed on the holographic readouts. When the Valorans had first shown humanity their quantum technology, it had seemed like magic. But human scientists had immediately started asking questions the Valorans had never considered. Why did they use crystalline matrices when organic compounds could provide more flexibility? Why maintain quantum coherence through brute force when you could work with natural quantum states? Status report. Admiral Chen's voice came through the quantum encrypted comm. The Admiral had taken personal command of Project Phoenix, humanity's crash program to prepare for the coming war. The hybrid drives are exceeding expectations, Maya reported. We've successfully merged Valoran quantum technology with human biomechanical systems. The results. She paused, still amazed by the data. They're beyond anything either of our species achieved separately. That was becoming a common theme across all their joint projects. Humanity's fresh perspective combined with Valoran expertise was producing technological leaps that would have been impossible for either species alone. The Council's enforced stagnation had prevented this kind of innovation for millennia. Across Earth and throughout the solar system, similar scenes played out in hidden facilities. In the asteroid belt, automated factories constructed ships that combined Valoran quantum engineering with human-designed battle systems. Beneath the Sahara, researchers developed weapons that could bypass the Council's supposedly impenetrable shields. And in orbital laboratories, scientists worked to understand and counter the Council's most devastating technologies. But their greatest advantage remained secret even from most of the project leaders. The Council's power relied on controlling and limiting technology, ensuring no species could advance beyond their prescribed levels. They had never faced an enemy that could truly innovate. They won't expect this, Zar-El observed during a strategic briefing, their crystalline form shifting to deep blue tones of satisfaction. The Council believes technology can only advance along the paths they've mapped. They cannot conceive of truly new approaches. The briefing room's holographic display showed their latest breakthrough: quantum entangled battle networks that could coordinate entire fleets instantly across vast distances. The Council used similar technology, but their version required massive infrastructure. The human Valoran hybrid system could be generated on the fly by the ships themselves. How long until they realize what we're doing? General Sarah Rodriguez asked. The veteran commander had been skeptical of alien allies at first, but the Valorans had proven themselves repeatedly over the past months. Their sensor networks detected our quantum activity 2 weeks ago, Admiral Chen replied. But their analysis suggests we're merely copying Valoran technology. Their arrogance blinds them to the possibility that we're actually improving upon it. That arrogance would be their undoing. While the Council's scout ships observed Earth from the edges of the solar system, reporting back that the primitive humans were struggling to integrate basic Valoran systems, the truth was far different. In the Kuiper Belt, the first fleet of hybrid warships was already conducting shakedown trials. Their quantum phase drives could cross the galaxy in days instead of years. Their adaptive shields could withstand weapons that could crack planets, and their weapon systems operated on principles the Council had never imagined. Latest intelligence suggests we have 4 more weeks before they make their move, Chen continued. They'll likely start with a diplomatic mission, offering to help us properly integrate into galactic society. When we refuse, they'll attempt to demonstrate their superiority with a show of force. Maya's hands clenched as she remembered the holographic recordings of what the Council had done to Valoran worlds. They're in for a surprise. Several surprises. Tel-Nar agreed, their crystalline form flickering with anticipation. The Council believes they face a primitive species struggling with borrowed technology. They cannot conceive that Earth's ships might be more advanced than their own. The quantum forge pulsed again, completing another component for their growing arsenal. Similar forges operated around the clock in facilities across Earth and throughout the solar system. Humanity had spent its entire history preparing for threats it couldn't imagine. Now that a real enemy had revealed itself, that preparation was paying off. 3 more weeks until the hybrid fleet completes trials, Maya reported, checking the latest production figures. After that, we can begin full-scale production at all sites. Admiral Chen nodded, her expression grim but determined. The Council thinks they're being subtle, watching us from the outer system. They don't realize every probe they send teaches us more about their technology. By the time they make their move, we'll know their capabilities better than they do. That was the ultimate irony. The Council's rigid control of technology meant they hadn't truly innovated in centuries. They had superior technology, yes, but they used it in predictable ways. Humanity, in contrast, had spent its entire existence finding new approaches to overcome superior forces. All departments, proceed to Phase 2, Chen ordered. It's time to show the galaxy what happens when you give humans advanced technology and a reason to use it. As the quantum forge began another production cycle, Maya thought about the challenge ahead. The Council had 10,000 years of technological development on their side. They controlled thousands of worlds and had defeated every species that ever challenged them. But they had never faced humans before. They had never encountered a species that thrived on overcoming impossible odds, that looked at advanced technology and immediately started figuring out how to improve it. Most importantly, they had never faced an enemy that could truly innovate. The Council was about to learn why humanity's isolation had been a gift, not a disadvantage. They had spent 10,000 years ensuring no species could think beyond the boundaries they set. Now they would face a species that didn't believe in boundaries at all. The Council diplomatic vessel emerged from quantum space exactly where Earth's strategists had predicted it would. Its crystalline structure dwarfed the orbital platforms humanity had constructed to greet it, its very presence designed to inspire awe and submission. Admiral Chen watched from the bridge of the EFs defiant, hidden behind quantum phase shields that made the ship completely undetectable. Around the solar system, 50 other hybrid warships waited in similar silence. The trap was set. Greetings, people of Earth. The Council transmission began, broadcasting on all frequencies. We are aware you have made contact with the criminal Valoran remnants. We come offering guidance and protection to help integrate your species properly into galactic society. The message continued, thick with condescension barely disguised as concern. The Council representatives, beings of pure energy contained in humanoid forms, spoke of peace while their weapon systems powered up. They offered friendship while scanning for military targets. They're deploying quantum suppressors, Maya reported from her station. Standard Council procedure: disable advanced technology to force compliance. But the suppressors found nothing to disable. Every piece of Valoran technology on Earth was shielded by human-designed quantum barriers that operated on principles the Council had never encountered. To their sensors, Earth appeared to have only primitive space capabilities. Send the response, Chen ordered. Earth's transmission was brief. The people of Earth reject Council authority. We know what you did to the Valorans. We choose freedom. The Council ship's energy readings spiked. Right on schedule. All ships, execute Operation Thunderbolt, Chen commanded through the quantum-entangled network. The Council vessel never saw the attack coming. One moment they were preparing to deliver an object lesson to another primitive species. The next, their quantum shields collapsed under weapons they couldn't detect, fired from ships their sensors couldn't see. Council vessel disabled, Tactical reported. Their quantum core is contained. No distress signals were sent. But this was just the beginning. Phase 2 began immediately. The hybrid fleet Quantum jumped to their first target, a Council border outpost that helped maintain their suppression field over former Valoran space. The outpost's defenders didn't even have time to raise shields before precision strikes from Earth's ships disabled their weapons and communications. "This is Admiral Helena Chen of the Earth Defense Fleet," she transmitted to the stunned Council forces. "Your quantum suppression network ends today. Surrender and you will be treated fairly. Resist, and you will learn why no one has ever successfully conquered Earth." The outposts surrendered. They had never seen ships appear from nowhere, never encountered weapons that could bypass their strongest defenses. Most importantly, they had never faced an enemy that could innovate beyond Council-approved tactics. Over the next 24 hours, Earth's fleet struck 15 similar outposts. Each attack was precisely calculated, each victory further weakening the Council's grip on this sector of space. But the true victory came in the aftermath. On dozens of worlds, beings of crystal, energy, and forms humanity had never imagined rose up as the Council's suppression fields failed. The Valoran resistance, which had hidden for so long, emerged to find they were no longer alone. Multiple quantum signatures detected. Maya reported as the Defiant orbited a liberated Valoran colony. Ships are emerging from hidden bases across the sector. They weren't just Valoran vessels. Other species that had secretly resisted Council rule revealed themselves, drawn by the news that someone had finally found a way to fight back. The Council's perfect order was cracking. On the Quantum Command Network, reports flowed in from across the sector. The Council was struggling to respond, their rigid protocols unable to adapt to warfare that didn't follow their established patterns. Their ships, theoretically far superior to Earth's vessels, found themselves outmaneuvered by tactics they had never encountered. "We've confirmed liberation of 70% of former Valoran space," General Rodriguez reported during the strategic update. "Council forces are falling back to defensive positions, but their response time is exactly what we predicted. They can't adapt quickly enough." That was the fatal flaw in the Council's system. By suppressing innovation for so long, they had lost the ability to handle novel situations. Their responses were powerful but predictable, their tactics unchanged for centuries. In contrast, humanity's fleet adapted constantly. Each engagement brought new data, new techniques, new ways to combine human intuition with Valoran technology. The quantum-entangled battle network let ships share these insights instantly, making the entire fleet more effective with each passing hour. Multiple ships approaching, Tactical announced. Unknown configurations. The new arrivals emerged from quantum space in a dazzling display of technologies the Council had banned millennia ago. Ships that seemed to be made of pure light, vessels that bent space itself around them, craft that defied classification entirely. "This is the Free Species Alliance," came the transmission. "We've waited centuries for this moment. Earth has proven it's possible to fight back. We stand ready to join your cause." Chen smiled. This was exactly what their strategists had hoped for. The Council's overthrow wouldn't come from Earth's fleet alone, but from every species they had suppressed finally finding the courage to rise up. "Welcome to the revolution," she transmitted back. "Let's show the Council why they should have let the galaxy evolve naturally." As more ships arrived from hidden bases and secret colonies, the quantum network expanded to incorporate their unique capabilities. The Council had spent 10,000 years ensuring no single species could challenge them. They had never considered that their oppression might unite those species into something far more powerful. The war for galactic freedom had begun, and humanity, the youngest species in the fight, was leading the charge. Not because they had the most advanced technology or the largest fleet, but because they had never learned to accept limitations. The Council was about to learn why evolution had made humans so adaptable. They were about to discover what happened when you backed into a corner a species that had spent its entire history overcoming impossible odds. They were about to understand, far too late, that their greatest mistake wasn't attacking the Valorans. It was giving humanity a reason to fight back. The Council's high chamber, untouched for millennia, shook with weapons fire. Through quantum-encrypted feeds, Admiral Chen watched as the combined fleet of Earth and the Free Species Alliance engaged the massive defense grid protecting the Council's central world. Their response patterns remain unchanged, Maya reported from her station aboard the Defiant. They're still using the same defensive algorithms they've relied on for centuries. That predictability had become the Alliance's greatest advantage. The Council's forces were powerful but inflexible, unable to adapt to the constantly evolving tactics of their opponents. Each engagement provided new data, which the quantum battle network instantly shared across the entire fleet. Multiple Council dreadnoughts emerging from quantum space, Tactical announced. Energy signatures matched their planet-killer class vessels. The massive ships appeared in perfect formation, their crystalline structures humming with enough power to shatter worlds. 3 months ago, such a sight would have meant certain defeat for any opposing force. Now it was exactly what they had expected. "Execute Operation Deadlock," Chen ordered. Across the battlefield, Alliance ships activated the latest hybrid technology developed by human and alien scientists. The quantum phase shields that had made their ships invisible now projected false sensor readings, making small fighters appear as capital ships and vice versa. The Council's perfect formation broke as their targeting systems became confused. "Their command and control network is attempting to compensate," Telnar reported, their crystalline form pulsing with satisfaction. Initiating quantum virus upload. This was another innovation the Council had never anticipated. The merger of human-computer viruses with Valoran quantum technology. Their rigid protocols, unchanged for thousands of years, had no defense against code that could propagate through quantum-entangled systems. "Council fleet coordination is degrading," Maya announced. "Their ships are reverting to individual control." That was the signal the Alliance fleet had waited for. Hundreds of ships, representing dozens of formerly suppressed species, launched their attack. Each brought unique technologies and tactics that the Council had banned centuries ago, now enhanced by cooperation with other species. The Valorant's quantum phase weapons struck first, bypassing shields that had been impenetrable for millennia. Ships that seemed to be made of pure light, contributed by a species called the Lumini, created artificial singularities that trapped Council vessels. Human-designed electromagnetic pulses, amplified by technology from a dozen other species, disabled the Council's most powerful weapons. Their defense grid is adapting, Tactical warned. They're attempting to re-establish fleet coordination. Too late, Chen replied, allowing herself a small smile. Launch the Phantoms. From quantum space emerged humanity's latest contribution to the war effort. Ships that were more AI than machine, capable of processing combat data and adapting strategies faster than any organic crew. They had been controversial when first proposed, but the free exchange of ideas between species had helped overcome the fears many had about artificial intelligence. The Phantoms dove into the heart of the Council's formation, their quantum-enhanced AI cores predicting and countering every standard response in the Council's tactical database. They had run millions of simulations against known Council strategies, and now that preparation paid off. Council fleet is in disarray, Maya reported. Multiple ships are attempting to retreat. Correction, their quantum drives are being disrupted by our suppression field. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. The same technology the Council had used to control subject species was now being used against them, refined and improved by the very innovation they had tried to prevent. This is Admiral Helena Chen to all Council forces. She transmitted on their command frequency. Your defense grid is compromised. Your fleet is in chaos. Surrender now, and you will be treated according to the laws of war. Continue fighting, and you will fall. The response came not from the Council ships, but from the surface of their capital world. The High Chamber itself, speaking with the combined voice of the energy beings who had ruled the galaxy for 10,000 years. You cannot comprehend the damage you are doing, they declared. Without our guidance, the galaxy will descend into chaos. Technological advancement must be controlled, regulated, directed along safe paths. Safe for whom? Chen countered. The species you've suppressed, the civilizations you've destroyed. You didn't create order. You created stagnation. And now you're seeing what happens when you try to contain the natural drive to innovate and grow. As if to emphasize her point, a new class of Alliance ship Quantum jumped into the battle. These vessels, created through collaboration between human engineers and scientists from a dozen species, represented technologies the Council had never imagined possible. They moved through space in ways that defied the Council's understanding of physics, using principles that had emerged from the free exchange of ideas between formerly isolated species. The Council's primary defense hub has been breached, Tactical reported. Ground forces are encountering minimal resistance. Most of their automated systems are disabled by the quantum virus. The Council had built their seat of power to withstand any conventional assault, but they had never anticipated an attack that would turn their own quantum-entangled systems against them. They had never imagined that the species they had suppressed would not only break free, but would then innovate beyond the Council's level of technology. Multiple surrender signals detected, Maya announced. Council ships are powering down weapons. Their ground installations are going dark. The battle for the Council's capital was over, but Chen knew this was just the beginning. Overthrowing the old order was one thing. Building something better to replace it would be an even greater challenge. All ships maintain combat positions, she ordered. General Rodriguez, you may begin landing ground forces. Let's make sure this victory sticks. As Alliance ships secured the Council's capital, Chen thought about the journey that had brought them here. Humanity had gone from a primitive species unknown to the galaxy to leading the revolution that overthrew its 10,000-year-old rulers. Not through overwhelming force or superior technology, but through the very trait the Council had tried to suppress: the drive to innovate, to find new solutions, to overcome impossible odds. The galaxy was about to enter a new age, one where advancement wouldn't be controlled by a central authority, but would emerge naturally from cooperation between free species. An age where innovation would be celebrated, not suppressed. The Council's downfall wasn't just a military victory. It was proof that no force in the universe could permanently contain the drive to grow, to improve, to reach for the stars themselves. Humanity had helped break the chains, but the future they were building would belong to all species. 1 year after the fall of the Council, the great chamber that had once housed their ruling body hosted a very different gathering. Representatives from over 1,000 species filled the vast space, their forms ranging from crystalline to energy-based to biological, all united in the task of building a new future for the galaxy. Admiral Helena Chen, now serving as Earth's representative to the Galactic Assembly, stood at the podium where the Council had once issued their unchanging edicts. The contrast wasn't lost on her. Where the Council had demanded uniformity, the Chamber now celebrated diversity. Where they had suppressed innovation, the Assembly actively encouraged it. "The latest reports from the Liberation Fleet are in," she announced to the gathered representatives. "The last Council holdout in the Carina Arm has surrendered. For the first time in 10,000 years, the galaxy is truly free." The celebration that followed took many forms. Crystalline beings like the Valorans pulsed with colors of joy. Energy beings merged into temporary gestalts of shared emotion, and dozens of other species expressed their happiness in unique ways. This, too, was a change from the Council's era, when all species had been forced to adopt approved forms of behavior. Freedom brings its own challenges, Maya observed from her position next to Chen. The scientist had become one of the key architects of the new order, helping to ensure that technological advancement served all species rather than controlling them. She was right, of course. The past year had seen its share of difficulties as ancient rivalries emerged from beneath Council suppression. But something remarkable had happened. Species that might once have turned to war were instead finding ways to cooperate, inspired by the example set during the Revolution. The Quantum Exchange Network is now linking 90% of known worlds. Telnar reported, their crystalline form gleaming with pride. The network, which allowed instant sharing of scientific knowledge between species, had been one of the first initiatives of the new assembly. "And how many new technologies have been registered this cycle?" Chen asked, though she already knew the answer. "Over 10,000, Maya replied with a smile. "More advancement in 1 year than the Council permitted in a century. The combined creativity of multiple species working together freely." She shook her head in wonder. "We're seeing possibilities none of us could have imagined alone." That was the true victory, not just overthrowing the Council, but proving that their fundamental philosophy had been wrong. They had claimed that controlled technological development was necessary to prevent chaos. Instead, free cooperation between species was producing more stable and sustainable advances than forced compliance ever had. The Assembly Chamber's quantum displays showed some of these achievements. Ships that could navigate the space between galaxies, medical technologies that could heal almost any injury, energy systems that drew power from the quantum fabric of space itself. Each innovation represented collaboration between multiple species, each contributing their unique perspectives and capabilities. "The human delegation from Project Genesis has arrived," an aide announced. Chen nodded. This was the moment she had been waiting for. The chamber's central display activated, showing a distant star system where something unprecedented was taking place. Humanity had proposed using their combined technologies not just to build or destroy, but to create new life, new possibilities. "Project Genesis represents everything the Council feared," she addressed the Assembly. "Multiple species working together, pushing the boundaries of what's possible, taking risks to achieve something greater than ourselves. They claimed this would lead to disaster. Instead, it has brought us to the brink of becoming true shepherds of creation itself." The display showed the project's first success, a barren world transformed into one capable of supporting life, using techniques developed through cooperation between dozens of species. It was an achievement that would have been impossible under the Council's rigid controls. "We face an interesting challenge now," Maya noted. "The Council ruled through restriction. We must learn to govern through inspiration." That was the core principle of the new assembly. Instead of controlling technological development, they encouraged responsible innovation. Rather than suppressing unique characteristics of each species, they celebrated and combined them. The result was a renaissance of creativity and advancement that was transforming the galaxy. "We've received another petition for membership," Telnar announced. "A young species from the galactic rim. They've just achieved quantum flight capability." Chen smiled. Once, such a species would have been immediately subjected to Council control, their development carefully restricted to approved paths. Now they would be welcomed as equals, their unique perspectives valued for what they might contribute to the greater whole. "Traditional Council protocol would have us evaluate them based on technological advancement," she noted. "I suggest instead we look at their potential for innovation, their willingness to cooperate, their drive to exceed their current limitations." The Assembly agreed unanimously. The old metrics of advancement, approved technologies, standardized development paths, rigid hierarchies had been replaced by new values: creativity, cooperation, the courage to imagine and achieve the impossible. As Chen looked out over the gathered representatives, she reflected on the journey that had brought them here. Earth had entered the galactic stage as an unknown primitive world, yet had sparked a revolution not through superior force, but through the very qualities the Council had tried to suppress: innovation, adaptation, the refusal to accept artificial limitations. The Council feared chaos, she addressed the Assembly. But they didn't understand the difference between chaos and complexity. Life itself is complex, constantly evolving, finding new paths forward. By trying to impose rigid order, they were fighting against the fundamental nature of existence itself. The quantum displays showed scenes from across the galaxy, species that had once been enemies now working together on grand projects, worlds that had been stagnant for millennia now blazing with innovation, young civilizations reaching for the stars without fear of suppression. "We choose a different path," Chen continued. "We choose to embrace complexity, to celebrate diversity, to face the challenges of freedom rather than hide in the false security of control. And in doing so, we've achieved more in 1 year than the Council achieved in 10,000. The Assembly Chamber, once a symbol of oppression, had become a testament to the power of free cooperation between species. The future they were building would not be perfect. Nothing truly worthy ever is. But it would be alive with possibility, rich with innovation, and forever free from the artificial constraints that had held the galaxy in stasis for so long. The Council had ruled through power. The new Assembly would lead through inspiration. And the galaxy, finally unchained, would reach heights that even humanity's boundless imagination had yet to dream of.